We here, barely.
Diving it. Diving it. Diving it. Diving it.
What do we get called?
Diving it. Diving it. Diving it. Diving it. Diving it.
Here we are one more again. Yeah, greetings, my fellow footies, and welcome back to Diving for Glory, episode 9, season 2. I'm your host, Mr. Pep Corsiola, the informative, investigative, infamous instigator at your service. Red Devils, holla at me, man. I am available, and I will take that job. I know it's coming open soon. Sir Solomon, what up, though?
As successful as Riyad Mahrez on the penalty spot.
Oh, ouch, stop. NASA has reported that ball is still flying in the atmosphere. Elon Musk is searching for it. This week, man, City returned to the scene of last year's murder. Anfield, BVB out here gunslinging. Sevilla take over La Liga, and PSG look to wrap up League One by Halloween. Also, Big 5 League reviews, Europa League review, Newcastle Club profile, and as always, our prestigious and egregious D4G award section. Diving for Glory has been enhanced this year, so please tune in as we will be posting every Monday, except for today, which is a Tuesday, on iTunes, YouTube, and divingforglory.com. Please remember next week is International Break, and we are a club podcast, so we will not see you next week. Returning the following. You can also find us on Twitter at Diving for Glory and Facebook as well. Follow, hashtag, subscribe, like, retweet. And also, if you listen and like us, please hit up iTunes and rate us. 5 globs of dust, matter, energy, and gravity. All right. Just a cup, jersey tuck, boots lace. Let's go. Alrighty then. Huge things going on in the Premier League this weekend. Estimates were that 1 billion people would tune in to watch a soccer game. Maybe 1 billion people tuned in. Maybe a soccer game was not what they got. Speak about it, Sir Solomon.
It's interesting. First shout out to everybody that came all the way from Wisconsin and everywhere, and we met up on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Big up yourself. It was nice to meet some of the fans of the podcast.
Yeah.
Now, Sunday, though, was quite disappointing.
I know. I wasn't as hungover as I should have been, number one.
I think you partied and Man City got a hangover. But on the serious note, Pep has been, this has been the one person, manager-wise, that has given Pep a hard time over his career since their Bayern Munich and Dortmund days. And even at Liverpool last year, if you remember, I don't know if you remember, when they eliminated Man City with 2 straight losses from the Champions League. On both those games, Pep played different style than he usually does. He changes his formation because he's so aware that Liverpool can blow you up with those front 3. And he really held his team back in order to hold them. And it worked to a certain extent because, when you get over the fact that Manchester City is the defending champion and away tie to Liverpool, who's basically this season deemed their challenger, you'll take it. Now, on the other hand, at the end of the game, they get a penalty, which, funnily enough, they had multiple penalty shouts during the game while Sergio Aguero was still playing that are going to be used this summer in the argument to bring VAR into the game. because, like, like we always complain about VAR, but like this was one of those situations where it could have actually, if it was in play, we would have seen the positives of it because the calls were missed. So Virgil van Dijk at the end kind of, has a fuck up.
It was definitely a penalty.
Yeah, that's a penalty.
But the big to do here is that Jesus is lining up to take the penalty, and it's not that Mahrez just came and took it, correct? It was that Pep actually said
sent
Mahrez.
instructions, I want to say through Mendy, but like through somebody else for Mahrez to take it.
I remember being surprised. I was like,
and initially it seemed like Mahrez stepped, because Jesus went immediately and stood on the penalty spot as a number 9 striker should do. And Mahrez came up and talked to him. It didn't seem like when Alexis and Pogba fought over the penalty. Like, it was like, yo, and you could clearly see Jesus' face. He kind of gets this surprised look, and then he shrugs and walks away. Yep. But like, he was thoroughly disappointed by it. I think that Pep took a situation that missed or draw, whatever, it wouldn't have mattered. Like,
overcoaching.
Yeah,
it's
he
overcoaching.
overthought the situation, especially when you consider Mahrez's records in penalty kicks. I would have had him very low on the like.
So
it was like if he made a very big claim for it and you might think so, but I don't know if there's a behind the scenes agreement with his agency or whatever it may be. This guy has not earned the right to be Manchester City's penalty taker.
So I certainly was like surprised when he walked up because of Jesus being on the field, because Bernardo Silva was on the field, and then they show his penalty record, which I was unaware of at the time, and I'm like,
yeah, because he played for Leicester.
The guy you're sending up?
You weren't that in tune with his career because most of it happened in a cold, rainy night on Tuesday or whatever in Stoke.
Yeah, for sure.
But like I told you at the time, I was like, I would go David Silva, Bernardo Silva, Jesus, even Leroy Sané, all of these guys
maybe even Mendy.
Hey, I know that Mendy won't be shook by the moment.
No,
tell you that much.
Not at all. But
have you seen Mahrez's face right after?
Yeah.
He actually has choky face.
Yeah.
What gave him confidence to say that guy? Like, Jesus looked like he was about to slide it in. So he was ready.
So this is so agreed here. This is total Pep overcoaching the situation. That was the moment that left this game as a draw, ultimately. But let's talk about the game overall. For this being these two supposedly high-powered offense, we know City's still scoring a bunch. Liverpool have not been clicking this year like they were last year, even though they've still been winning. But 7 shots with 2 on goal for Liverpool, 6 shots and 2 on goal for City.
And the first shot on goal happened after like the 60th minute.
Yeah,
like,
for either team.
Yeah, for either team. And then the other team immediately took another shot and like they matched it, but it was dire. But it was a case of like a lot of times, lately it's been not so, but a lot of times when big powerhouse teams in most sports play against each other, unless it's a series back to back, if it's just the first game and then you can go and play some other guys, they played it very cautious, and you could see the respect both teams had. I mean, Liverpool was getting rocked, but like they played really good, whereas Man City really showed Liverpool a lot of respect. In my opinion, more so than necessary because of the form that you're talking about Liverpool is in. And I think that the midfield battle was complete overrunning, and Liverpool has been losing in midfield for the past 6-7 games, starting from the Tottenham game, and their forward line has carried them through some, whatever it may be. Like, but in this game, I thought that if you want to make adjustments, first off, Aguero, Riyad Mahrez, and Sterling had a terrible game all at the same time. I think that a halftime substitution of Leroy Sané for either one of these 3 guys so that he gets to burn people for a long time would have helped, especially since you don't have Kevin De Bruyne right now. So I don't see why Mahrez gets 90 minutes. I don't see why Mahrez takes penalties. Like, Does
I'm
he
surprised.
have like a videotape of Pep sucking a dick or something? Like,
Totally surprised to see Laporte and Stone start in.
that was a good call. Like,
I mean, I'm not saying they didn't play well, but it was just a surprise. That's
Yes,
like
it was.
not
but,
something he usually is
I was
running with out there.
also, it
Change
was a
formation,
curiosity. I agree with you. And on that curiosity, I actually read up on it some more. And the reason behind it makes sense, and how it worked out also makes sense. The speed of the ball moving on the ground and the amount, like, if you had played Company and Otamendi,
absolutely.
the press would have been would have got you. And it was to avoid that. And it worked. Like I said, a lot of things worked, but like, he basically, for a person that claims that we always want to play our football and never adjust, he made multiple adjustments, like playing Gundogan and.
So the real assessment of the game is that Pep almost got it right. Had he not?
No, I think that actually Pep took a situation that was imminently winnable and actively got a lot of things wrong to get the draw.
Actively,
yes.
Outside of the penalty,
outside of playing Mahrez 90 minutes, outside of not playing Leroy Sané enough. Like, it was just like, even his fullbacks, yes, they had like Ben Mendy, for example, had Mane in check for a lot of time. But Mane hasn't been doing anything for like 6 weeks. You should give him a little more free reign to go forward and cause havoc, and that wasn't there. Like, when you look at, like, you give Sterling the ball or Aguero the ball, and they're just running into traffic. And Joe Gomez totally dominated Sterling. And those adjustments that Pep is known for in this particular game, I think he wanted the tie, so he kind of stuck with it.
I feel like you got to just challenge that center back duo partnership a little bit. Lovren hasn't played all year with Van Dijk.
And Joe Gomez coming in at right back over Trent Alexander, and actually putting in an amazing, like, a really good performance.
Good shift,
And like, I would say, even though Liverpool looked shit and took a lot of the brunt of it, in terms of purely coaching, because Man City is the more talented team, I think that Klopp again got the better of Pep, because the better team dropped more the points. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's fair.
The way they've both been playing and how, like, Bernardo Silva and David Silva have been linking and stuff, they could have easily have overran them, and Klopp got a point out of this without having a decent team.
Interesting stats from the game for me are both teams were combined 5 of 30 on crosses. But both teams were also 11 of 17 and 11 of 16, respectively, in tackles. And this is just the game that I saw mostly took place in midfield. A lot of sloppiness.
A lot of sloppiness.
And some fierce pressing, too.
Fierce pressing on, like, for both teams, though, not as much pressing as they usually do.
Yeah, for sure. They absolutely backed up. Another point that you made earlier about Klopp and Pep. Klopp is 8-2-5 against Pep.
And the funny thing is, there were 3 Brazilians in this game. 2 of them were goalkeepers, and 1 of them was a holding midfielder.
Yeah.
Football has changed.
It's true. All right, both teams are with 20 points, along with Chelsea. City is top of the table on goal difference. I just want to also mention last 19 meetings between Liverpool and Man City, 10 wins for Liverpool, 4 wins for City, and 5 draws. Who's your man of the match here?
Man of the match. It's difficult to give to anybody, really.
I have no one in my notes.
Yeah, like, I don't
sounds
know.
like you like Gomez a lot.
Yeah, I think I would go with Gomez because he really put Sterling in check, and he didn't like his. When a big, strong guy goes against a small, fast guy, you always wonder, is it going to be speed or is it going to be strength? And Joe Gomez's strength plus somewhat his speed really had Sterling in his pocket.
Yep. Total shell shock, especially as a City fan. That, like, you just don't want them to. You're damn right. You'll take the point. You just don't want to see them do what they did last year. So
I get that.
Take it.
You're a fan, but as the manager, my belief system is that the best way to avoid losses is to play the best offense you can.
That's his belief too. But
he changes it every time he sees Klopp nowadays,
Yeah.
which means uncle.
Yeah. Woo! Bold statements. All right.
I'm just saying.
Let's move along to Klopp's former team, Borussia Dortmund. We covered last week as well, taking on Augsburg. Doesn't seem like such a sexy matchup from the outside, but once he got in the club, it was cranking.
Yeah.
4-3 here for Dortmund. Sir Solomon, what you got to say?
This game was a bit of a ho-hum game until like the 60th minute.
Yeah, 1-0 at half, right?
Yeah, Dortmund I just turned it on because it started at 9:30 while a lot of other Premier League games were going to start at 10. Mm-hmm. So it was 1-0 and Dortmund were moving nice. I really was curious to see how Jadon Sancho, I call him Jadon, I don't know, sometimes I hear him say Jadon, but whatever. The boy Sancho was doing his thing. So, like, he had requested a start because he had already 5 assists over the course of the season, which, like, basically was one of the leaders in Europe, and he had done all of it from the bench. So he got his first start. I was excited. Let's watch some Jadon Sancho. But Lucien Favre has this Dortmund team set up in a way that is impossible not to be entertained. They might get their ass beat, but you're going to fucking be entertained.
Absolutely. So this game here is 1-0 with a bunch of really, really, really good goals. And this is a game where it goes... Go ahead.
Yeah. It wasn't 1-0 with a bunch of really, really good goals.
Well, no. With a bunch of really good goals to come. So they go... This is a game where Dortmund went down. They go up. They tie it. And then they come back to finish it off.
So they were down to Fino or whatever the guy's name is. And I don't know, Finn Bogasson. Anyways, this dude scores, and the whole time Dortmund looks the better team, but you could clearly see that they're open on the counter because Ashraf Hakimi is up front. Even though now they've got Axel Witsel to go along with Julian Weigl in the middle, and like it's a little more solid there. The defense is still learning each other, and the coach Lucien Favre has them set up on a balls to the wall style. So by design, you're going to get opportunities. But the thing is, he has depth. This team has a lot of depth. He has a lot of guys, like offensively, especially on the bench. Mm-hmm. And he seems this guy over the past 4 or 5 weeks, his in-game management has been impeccable.
So to that point, 59th minute at 1-0 still. Yes. Paco Alcácer comes on. Alcácer.
Or as they would say in Catalonia,
Alcácer comes on, and to your point, a lot of options. 3 minutes later, on an assist from
Jadon Sancho. So, 3 substitutes in one team, right? You get Paco Alcácer, you get Mario Götze, and Rafael Guerrero. Mm-hmm. Paco Alcácer has a hat-trick.
Yep.
Götze scores a goal.
Yep.
And Rafael Guerrero has an assist.
Yep.
Like, give this guy coach of the week for something this week.
For sure. The one concern, obviously, from anybody who saw the game would be the defending of BVB. Just their very simple, basic, like, just get the shit out the box, homie.
BVB,
a lot of comedy back there.
Understood, but like BVB, Red Bull, and which, funnily enough, the Augsburg plays very much according to the Red Bull principles we were talking about the other time, where we were saying you play very vertical, you get as many shots as you can, and Augsburg sets up like that. Like they set up with a 4-2-2-2, which is like very narrow and just come straight at it and take a bunch of shots. So the current crop of like German management, it seems, is they want, and this is also to the bigger point of football's direction, you want offensive players that are workhorses that will do the press for you, and defensive players that can play offense. So you're trying to defend as high up the field as possible. So when it goes wrong, your defenders are not that good now. And like that's not the focus of the team. So you're going to see a lot of high-scoring offensive games from like Dortmund, Augsburg, RB. Like these guys are just taking the gamble and saying we have way more offense than defense, so come at us.
Yeah, for a team like Augsburg to have 35% possession, 12 shots to Dortmund's 20, yet they have 7 big chances to Dortmund's 4. I find that fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, when you score 3 goals from 6 shots on target, like they took their chances, and it was a lot of counter-attacking on their part. And then from, set pieces. They get them on the counter-attack, they get shook, and then when they had a set piece, their guys were trees. Like, they got in there, they caused havoc, and Dortmund had no answer for that. And going forward, especially with the Greek boy going down to Arsenal over the summer, they're going to have to fix that because they can't handle the physicality of set pieces.
The kid Sancho mentioned, where did he come from? Were you aware of him before this season?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was one of the highest touted Manchester City youth players.
Was he? Okay. No, hey, I don't pay attention. You ain't on the first team, bro. He gets no time in my brain.
This goes back to, like, me and you had a discussion about your boy Phil Foden. And this guy is a higher rated player than him at the time he left. And if he felt he couldn't find playing time and went to Dortmund, which I think is the right decision because he's going to grow a lot. And, like, you can see it already. He has 6 assists in the Bundesliga, which I think leads Europe. Like, I don't think there's anybody that has 6 assists just yet.
Is he on loan?
Nah, he signed with them. He chose to leave. But I think that Man City has a right of they have right of first refusal on if he goes on the market. And I think they're gonna rate him at like 100 mil or something. But the thing is, they are seeing him as their Dembele. Like, he can play on that right side and create. And the kid has like nice moves. He was in England as a kid, played a lot of street football.
Okay.
So that's rare, and a lot of the English guys you see are much more academy the whole life and just overtrained, whereas this guy has that game.
Yeah. Okay. Be on the lookout. Obviously, putting his name in the books here. Man of the match.
I will go with Paco Alcácer, who, let it be known, like we said, they went ahead, but like Dortmund took a 3-2 lead in the 84th minute, and Augsburg tied them 3-3 in the 87th minute. There was 4 minutes of injury time added on, and Dortmund scored their 4th goal in the 5th minute and a half of injury time. Right.
I'm sorry, I'm being blown away by this dude so far. Three games played, none started, 27 minutes per game, 6 goals, a scoring frequency every 14 minutes, 2 goals a game. Like, I mean, obviously it's a skewed stat because it's such a small sample size, but shit, he's already made that. Yeah, he's already made their money back.
Oh, easily. They're gonna make a lot. Like, they're not trying to make money back. They're gonna make a lot of money off him when they sell him eventually.
Yeah. All right, moving along. From the one other thing to mention, BVB top of the table, man. Augsburg 10th place. Moving along, Sevilla hosting Celta in La Liga.
So in the league, he has 1 goal and 6 assists in 7 games total played. 1 started, 30 minutes per game.
Sancho.
Yeah, he has 6 assists and a goal in that piece.
So this could be an inclination or an inference or whatever the hell it is that they're just getting started, really.
Whew. But the thing
it.
Yeah, we'll see how if they keep him and how they do as the season goes on. Because good or bad, this is going to be one of the most fun teams to watch this season. If you get a chance on any time, like Germany football is affiliated with Fox. If you get any opportunity to see Dortmund play, I would highly advise you do it.
Boom. All right, let's go over to the other league that is also being surprisingly led by mystery team. But Sevilla hosting Celta, and they come away with the 2-1 here. That is the 4th straight win in La Liga for Sevilla.
Indeed. Sevilla's offense is clicking like a motherfucker. And this week they played a team that was also known, especially last season, as the offensive specialists, Celta Vigo. They hosted them, and it was a fun game, but like Sevilla had full control of it, and which is rare because Sevilla usually, whenever they get an opportunity to get to the top, whatever, they falter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, they're good at beating the nice teams, but they lose to like a Celta at home is like Sevilla fuck up waiting to happen, you know? But this year, their fucking strike force of...
Jesus Navas?
No. He plays right back for them now.
He does, no, I know.
But Pablo Sarabia and Wissam Ben Yedder, who have been like all over this show.
Yeah.
And your boy Andre Silva, who came over from
He's
AC Milan.
Yep.
And they both had a goal. Jesus Navas assisted.
That's why I was.
How can you miss a
he was
Jesus assist?
That's what I'm saying. He
Yeah.
was so in the front of my mind
Yeah.
because, like,
So that's
I
like-
watched him for 3 years on City Cross to no avail.
Yeah, man, that's his own team.
Yeah,
You know?
it is. Yep. But no, wonderful
So-
cross and beautiful header to Pablo Sarabia.
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 Yeah, and then later Pablo Sarabia links up with Wissam Ben Yedder. He scores. They put it away like 85th minute. Sofiane Boufal equalized.
That was a dope goal, though.
Dope goal gets them to within 2-1, but it ends up being just a consolation goal.
Yep.
Sevilla finished the day top of the league.
Yeah, and I think that's really why we chose this game to talk about more so than the actual game itself. Obviously, as we'll get to here in a second, there was some more interesting results in La Liga, but Sevilla sit top of the table after a slow start. They lost in Europa midweek, which is as mentioned here. That's a competition they typically own. Are they scared? They're still scared to dream. This is just still too early.
Dream of what? Like winning the league?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
And I
sneak
just
one.
play the game, next game, man. Like this is way far. Like much smaller teams than Sevilla have been this close, and this Sevilla hasn't been particularly good. Like their offense has been, but they've lost some like shit games to shit teams too. Like if we actually look at Sevilla's records, it's ridiculous. Like some of the games, like I think they lost already to Getafe. They lost to Real Betis 1-0. They lost 2-0 to Getafe. They have a 6-2 over Levante, a 3-0 over Real Madrid. But then they go into Europa and Krasnodar in fucking Turkey beats them 2-1. Like, they have a good win, especially the Real Madrid one, but overall, like, Sevilla has been up and down and they're on top of the league due to the terrible play of other contenders.
Well, it's at the very
They are
least
not even the hottest team in the league.
in the league.
Yes.
At least at this point, it provides for a much more interesting discussion in regards to the league, similar to Bundesliga, which has a incredible top four at the moment. But like we said, it's still early.
But a lot of teams that we know suffer from goal scoring. Like Andre Silva has 7 goals in 8 matches. Wissam Ben Yedder has 5 goals in 6 matches. Ever Banega from midfield has chipped in with 2 goals. Pablo Sarabia, who'll score a lot more later, has 2 goals already. Like, this team is designed to attack, and they're fun to watch. And that is the other focus of, outside of our primary game, why we wanted to talk about the Dortmund game and the Sevilla game, is because they are fun football teams to watch. And Sevilla, when we come back from international break, is playing
Barcelona.
So we'll have a lot of questions answered at that time. So we just wanted to inform you a little bit about them before it happened.
So, man of the match.
Man of the match, Pablo Sarabia.
Yeah, goal, assist, key pass, big chance, 88% passing. He did work in midfield. Moving along.
Made Jesus pass into a goal. Moving along. We are going to
Francais. PSG hosting Lyon. I thought I wasn't going to do stats for it, but I did. I looked at it a little bit. It was a game that was happened in 15 minutes.
It was weird. It started immediately. Mbappe gets fouled and Neymar slots it in for a 1-0.
Also, Fekir.
And then Fekir pulls up
7 minutes.
7 minutes in. Then we're thinking, shit, Paris Saint-Germain, 1 up, penalty, right? Presnel Kimpembe.
Man.
No, that is a
You worked on that
motherfucking name.
shit. I was wondering, I was looking like, can you say it? Can you say
Some
it?
dude on chat was talking about like Arsenal or something. It's like my dream purchase is Presnel Kimpembe, and I'm like, okay.
Well, he got a VAR red card in this one,
Oh yeah.
and rightfully so.
Oh, he should have been gone. Like that.
When I
dumb
first
fuck.
saw it, I was like, that's a red. That's straight red.
Yeah. So he set them back a little bit, but not to be undone.
Yeah.
Leon decided to get a red card too, and then it became 10 against 10. At which point, the gazelle that is known as the Ninja Turtle destroyed them in 15 minutes.
Yep. 4 goals, 15 minutes.
Dude, he had his hat trick in about 11, and then, being a nice teammate and liking Neymar, he set up Neymar for a nice second shot. Goal.
Yeah.
Neymar's goal got saved, so he scored it.
They scored it. I take it in.
I was like, hey, that's poetic
the
justice.
next goal, the pass from Neymar was so fucking sweet.
Yes, the pass was really good. I expect nothing less from Neymar's passing, but like that defense was terrible. Like
Terrible.
that how high they played on that. Like, who the fuck do you think you're playing?
Yeah, dude.
They have like
Neymar
8 guys with that speed.
Pepe.
And even if it's not them, like, Di Maria, they will fucking kill you. Like, you can't play that high. And like,
high of a
he
line,
was
yeah.
gone, dude.
Yeah.
How bad Leon played that matchup is the only reason we're not giving Mbappe awards at the end of this week, because he got layup after layup given to him.
Yeah, it was bad. 2 red cards. We'll change the game. Obviously, this leaves PSG with an 8-point lead already. Their goal difference is 32 goals scored and 6 conceded.
So, one point I'd like to make. Yes, it's a one-team league, but after this past World Cup, so many big teams have been showing up looking like shit that you have to respect that the PSG, full of players that were in the World Cup, are balling at the level that they're balling in at this time of the year.
Because they're destroying people. Yeah, it's not even...
And you watch them, and it's like, it doesn't matter that they're playing these guys. You can tell the speed, you can tell their form. Like, good job behind the scenes keeping all these pros just fit for this situation. Like, because we see Liverpool, like so many teams where players went to the World Cup that are struggling.
Tottenham, yeah.
That you got to give credit where it's due also, you know?
Yep, 9-0 here, top of the table. Obviously, Lyon sitting 6th at the moment. Any other thoughts from this game?
No.
Yeah, we just
People try to make like fucking Instagram images of like, is Neymar unhappy? That's on like, but they seem like they're happy. What everybody wants is for all of them to win.
The one thing I did want to say though is that it's really starting to look like Mbappe and Neymar enjoy a little bit more playing together, and like they are just like, if they could ever click, like you could imagine them clicking.
James Harden and Chris Paul.
Hey, yeah.
Like it feels like the same thing. You get put a bunch of workers that can hit jump shots, and you get these 2 stars. You can make it happen.
Make it work. Yeah. Well, we shall
And
see.
Neymar is like, the underrated part of his game is the big chances created. Like, he makes multiple big chances every game. And if Mbappe doesn't pull a hammy or something and he keeps the speed and he keeps running, like, there's a lot. Like, Neymar as a playmaker is actually way more impressive than Neymar as a finisher.
No doubt. All right, moving along. Midfield, linking up. Yeah. All right. Do what we always do. EPL review. Setting you up, starting here on Friday. We had a game. Brighton West Ham 1-0. West Ham following up that lovely run of play up with a dud here at Brighton.
Yeah, this is very West Ham. Away game to a physical team that's organized. less talented and less glorious. So no, because like no glory hunting here, you know.
Yeah.
So the guys have to self-motivate, and this is the ones that West Ham don't get.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like they'll come and play the Chelseas and the whatever because they know everybody's watching. So, like that's the thing about Arnautovic and like they like even at Stoke, like he'd pick his games, and when
I was really just entertained by your choice of words, like a less glorious team.
yes, because that's what they are. They're just a bunch of glory hunters. That's what I wanted to say.
Absolutely.
So they're like, even if we do beat Stoke, what do I give? Brighton, what do I give for it? Yeah, okay, whatever.
All right, Saturday we start off with Burnley hosting Huddersfield, and they go 1-1. Burnley at least getting results nowadays.
Yeah, like I have to say we have podcasts and all this shit, but like it's really difficult for me to decipher between Burnley and Brighton. Unless it's written Hove, because that's why I always call them Hove, because then I can remember them. They're Jehovah. But Burnley, they seem like they're finally beginning to hit some form. But a tie with Huddersfield is something you should be embarrassed about if you're trying to stay in the Premier League.
I agree. They're still down there. They are sitting 12th. Woo. But yeah, Huddersfield's pretty down there. Only have 3 points in 18th place. So yeah, you should be beating them at home. Leicester hosting Everton, and Leicester get the biz 2-1.
Yeah, this is two teams that are going in different directions, in my opinion. I think that Portuguese, I forget his name, coach of Everton, has got them going in
Silva,
the right direction.
right?
Yeah, Silva. And Gylfi Sigurdsson scored a wonder goal in this game. If he gets him to perform in the number 10 the way he does, and Richarlison cutting in from the wings to play, like, this is a decent team. They have Sanctoson up front and stuff. And I think Wes Morgan especially looked dated. Like he should not be in, not Leicester, but like the Premier League.
Yeah,
like the whole league.
Yeah.
Like he has been a championship defender, if that, for a while. Like a part-time kind of guy. Like you stick him in.
Yep.
But this is the speed of the Premier League, and the guy that's out of it, like I can't do it.
They are the only team outside of the top 5 that do not have a draw. It's Leicester, that is 4 wins, 4 losses. They look very similar to Everton in statistically, but I feel you for some reason in my head. It just feels like Everton is like
it's been a much more of a struggle. Like Everton, like I can tell you a couple of the games they lost. One of the games, Richarlison got a red card in, and then like he missed another game because of it. Like they've been playing football and losing the win, whatever. But like Leicester looks like their leader on defense is Wes Morgan. He's old as fuck. What's his name? The other guy, Maguire, who almost went to Manchester for some reason, like just because he scored like 3 headers in the World Cup. He's just a guy.
Yeah. Yep.
And their leader up front, Jamie Vardy, takes penalties and pads the stats, but he hasn't been a Premier League level like fear him kind of striker. He's on the wrong side of 30, and he's a speed player. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think Everton is going to be way better than them going forward, and Everton is a way bigger club.
Yeah, Vardy down a little bit this year, for sure. Moving along, Crystal Palace at home to the Wolves, and they take a L.
Yeah, they take a L, but like this is one of to me the nice Premier League matchups. Crystal Palace at home play really good football. They try to attack you with Andros Townsend and Zaha on the wings, and Wolves are coming together nicely. Jorge Mendes FC, they look good. Ruben Neves and all of them, but they got the shutout and like the win. I think that they're the slightly better of the two teams. I think that Wolves is closer to a 8th, 7th place team, whereas at the end of it, Palace will be closer to a 11th, 12th team when it's all said and
Wolves
done.
only have 9 goals this year. They're struggling to score a little bit.
Yeah, they'll bring back one of you. Just tell the guy that's running the club. He'll bring
We
it.
need some goals.
Yeah.
A team that's actually not struggling for goals at all at the moment is Bournemouth, and they were away to Watford, and they waxed Watford 4-0. And they sit 6th on the table right now. 5 wins and a draw, 2 losses.
And Watford looks like they need to start worrying about shit pretty fucking soon.
They did the
They
exact
get-
same thing last year.
They get waxed a lot. No, they didn't do the same exact thing last year.
They kind of jumped up, didn't they? They were
They
early
started
in the
hot.
season.
Yeah.
Then
But
they
what I'm
just
saying is, like, by this time last year, they were still playing. We were still talking nice about Troy Deeney. They weren't getting shit on 4-0 after just getting shit on 3-1 by Arsenal.
Yeah.
Like last year, he was talking about Hector Bellerin's hair and how because they beat Arsenal. Remember?
Yeah. Absolutely. Bournemouth, making that play to get relegation safety quite early this year.
Yeah.
Tottenham hosting Cardiff B, 1-0. Pretty drab game
Very
here.
drab. I would say maybe even the most disappointing game of the weekend. But Cardiff, big up themselves. They gave them a hard time all the way to the end. It was a fucking difficult slog of a win for Tottenham. And
Yet
previous
still-
years, Tottenham would have dropped that point. So it shows a certain level of maturity that they closed it out.
Yet and still, they got all 3 points. Moving along to Saturday's final game, which probably would have been covered had it not been for Liverpool City. Manchester United at home to Newcastle. And miraculously, somehow, some way, they fucking eked out a 3-2 victory here.
Out of nothing that makes sense.
Nothing.
So the game starts, and they go down 2-0 on 2 clear Ashley Young fuck-ups. So Eric Bailey gets substituted. What the fuck, dude? You saw him on the play get like turned over like 3 times on both plays. Like he got used. It wasn't even like kind of. And he substituted the other guy. Like, I'm like, what the fuck does Eric Bailey gotta do to be? I think that Mourinho is coming into games knowing who the fuck he's gonna substitute, which is not a healthy attitude to have. Last week we talked about how he couldn't wait to get Paul Pogba off the game.
Yeah.
And he did it immediately at 60 minutes.
Yep.
And it's looking ridiculous. Like his choice, I get it, you're trying to change your formation, but if you're gonna substitute him in 16 minutes for something he didn't even do,
the 19th
you should not.
minute, dude.
Yeah, you should not even start the dude if you're gonna substitute him in 19 minutes for something that he had nothing to do with.
You take your center back out, take in Juan Mata, so it's 2-0 after 10 minutes. But this goes still to the 70th minute.
And gotta say, Mata, very, 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 very nice goal. And since he came to the Premier League, nobody has scored more direct free kicks than Juan Mata.
Juan Mata. So they get back in this game very quickly after Juan Mata opens up scoring. Martial with a nice little back heel assist from Mr. Pogba.
Yes. And then
Mr. Sanchez gets
Dirty Sanchez in the house.
hooks up with Ashley Young. So Jose rewarded.
Yes.
Jose's listening to the show right now, and he's like, yeah, motherfucker, but who got the winning assist?
Yeah, I get that. But did you see how high he had to jump to get that header? That was not a good cross. Like, it was actually, everybody was kind of surprised at Dirty Sanchez's hops on that play.
Yeah.
Anywho, so they get all 3 points before the game. Like, the reason we're discussing this is not because any good football happened in this game. It was fucking funny, but it was before this game. It was leaked that they would fire him irregardless of the result. Mourinho and his team being way more professional at this shit than Ed Woodward and his team. He finagled a public backing out of the board before the game started and then got this win. So now the layup of firing Jose Mourinho is every day becoming more and more like you're trying to run out of your own end zone.
Amazing.
Like they just got pushed back so much. It was a layup at the beginning, dude. Now it's like you gotta play like you push back all the way in your field, you know?
Yep. Okay. Moving along, Sunday, Fulham Fulham, who, we were not high on or whatnot, but definitely were like, hey, they're a decent little team, got waxed by Arsenal 5-1.
Yeah, we never thought that they were better than Arsenal.
No,
so.
never that.
Yeah.
But damn, 5-1. Just beat up at home.
Yeah, when you play an offensive brand of football and you're not, like, you either win or you're going to get fucked up.
Yeah.
And, like, being at home for that team who isn't really used to the Premier League is not the best thing, because there's the illusion that if you're at home, you got to kind of go for it if you're an offensive team. So they are actually more open at home, so Arsenal picked them off. The first time in the Premier League where two subs have had an assist and a goal. I was glad to have been informed by Gunnar Mike.
9 wins in a row for Arsenal here.
Yeah, Arsenal is low-key doing the thing.
It doesn't look that pretty, but they're winning. And you can't argue with that.
We were just finished talking about a game that didn't look that pretty, but like a team that's looking bad and losing.
Hey.
So if you get the 3 points, you can work on your problems.
Yeah, for sure. Take all 3. Southampton hosting Chelsea, and Chelsea walk away with the 3-0 here.
Speaking of low-key, Chelsea has been building their team nicely while at the same time getting the points. And this game, they took all 3 points. They scored 3 goals. And don't look now, but Morata has 2 goals in 2 games.
Uh-oh. He's on a run.
His goal had
fire.
more than 30 passes. It was a full team play. They dominated Southampton like that before they scored.
Damn.
They passed left, they passed right, forward, backwards, again, and again. Okay, now Morata can score. We've tired them enough.
30. It's like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then you just call the person from the crowd to get the layup at the end. That's Morata.
Touche, man. All right, man.
But you don't know, the other days he's the guy that thinks there's water in the bucket when they do the confetti. He's that guy.
Yeah, that's our EPL roundup. Let's move along to the other big 5 European leagues. Start you off with some La Liga here. Big results abound. Alaves, who fought relegation last year, take a 1-0 over Real. I said every week we're talking about a bad result for Real Madrid.
Oh, yeah. This one is
looking
not
ugly.
No. But, we sound redundant. But when they break records, we have to talk about
this. Is historical.
They have never, it's 80-something years since the last time they've lost at Alaves.
Damn.
This is not just 1-0. And then also, they got hit up in the last fucking minute of injury time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time in the history, the third time in the history of Real Madrid Football Club that they have gone 4 straight games without scoring a goal.
3 times? That's it?
Yeah.
Wow.
In more than 100 years.
What's that guy's name again?
More than 120 years.
Who's that guy's name? The guy who's like the coach, or what's?
I hear they're looking for one.
Yeah.
I'll find out that name for you.
The hell,
I ain't trying to take up no fucking memory space. I told you we'd remember him if he was good.
Yeah.
How do we pronounce his name? Fired.
It doesn't matter.
You're getting sacked in the morning.
It's Tuesday, and I really don't understand why we haven't heard about him being dismissed yet.
Yes. If it was Italy, who this weekend fired 2 coaches, that Liga, they work. They are good for business.
Word up. So, moving along there, Atletico, keep the heat on here, give Betis a 1-0 loss.
Yes, and Atletico hasn't allowed a goal, and Betis also was not allowing any goals. And this 1-0 was a really, really good result. Not indicative of the fact that Betis is coming together and challenging Atletico and getting a 1-0 on the form that Atleti have been in is actually good. Betis is in the right direction, but Atleti is the best playing team in the league right now. Mm-hmm. When I said earlier Sevilla wasn't, this is what I wanted to say, was Atletico Madrid is.
Before I get to the last result for La Liga, I still wanted to mention, go ahead, you got something else?
But the best La Liga team in Europe, playing in Europe, is Barcelona, because they play completely different within the Champions League than they are at home in the league.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that. 1 second. I just wanted to mention the Espanyol over Villarreal. They put 3 on them. Espanyol scoring some goals this year in top 5 or top 6 of the table. But their Catalonia counterparts, Barcelona. Their Barcelona counterparts, Barcelona.
They're the Catalonia Barcelona.
It's both. But they're away at Valencia, and they, another game without all 3 points. 1-1.
Yes, Valencia away 1-1 is actually never considered a terrible result. But that being said, the team seems like it's always experimental, and Arthur taking up in the midfield spot over the game in the midweek against Tottenham and showing such a great performance and comparisons to Xavi has now created a situation where we don't know where Philippe Coutinho's real position is going to be.
Which he also started this game.
He started
on
this
the
game,
left,
and he plays
he
on
did
left
the last
forward.
one, yeah.
Yes, and
I think the verdict's still out on that, obviously.
yeah, that's what I want to say.
I like the way it looked in the other game.
It wasn't terrible, and even in the other game, like when he gets the ball, he does good. But you pay a lot of money for Philippe Coutinho to be on the ball all the time and directing, not to be a winger, basically. And if you want a winger in the game, then you put in Dembele, who's better at that part. That's the part, So,
Yep.
but it's a good problem to have. It
Yeah,
means
it's an
that,
excellent
like
problem.
last season, Barcelona barely had a starting 11 that you were confident in, let alone to have this kind of substitution and rotational problems, because different guys are playing really good in their positions. But I don't know. The next step Barcelona has to do is get rid of this fucking coach because he's very rudimentary.
Yep.
They have a bunch of Ferraris and a fucking tractor driver.
1-1, and as we mentioned before, that leaves Sevilla at the top of the table, Barcelona second, Atletico Madrid third, Real Madrid fourth, I love it, Espanyol fifth, Alaves sixth. Interesting top 6 there.
Where's Valladolid?
7th.
Ronaldo, 30 million.
Yes.
Majority ownership. 7th place in La Liga.
Going up. All right. Moving along. Let's head off over to Italy and touch on Serie A. A couple interesting results here. I'm just going to mention that actually there weren't that many interesting games. Just kind of mentioned the bigger teams here. Juventus with the 2-0 over Udinese.
Ronaldo gets a goal.
Roma with the 2-0 over Empoli.
Yeah, Empoli. Steven Nzonzi gets his first Roma goal in this game.
Okay. Atalanta losing to Sampdoria at home 1-0.
Yeah, Atlanta. Sampdoria scored a nice header. Atlanta had a chance to take the lead and didn't earlier in that. So
Lazio with the 1-0 over Fiorentina.
Chiro scores a nice goal off a rebound, but the tight angle that he volleyed it from was very impressive. Ciro Immobile for the winner.
Milan put up 3 on Chievo Verona. 3-1 victory.
Pipita with the double, and I think Patrick Cotroni with the other.
Okay. Napoli with the 2-0 victory over 10-man Sassuolo.
Yes, that both goals were beautiful in that. The number 11, I forget his name, the guy that scored the first goal, did a Teckers over the guy's head with the ball and then volleyed it on the other side. And then the second goal by Lorenzo Insigne was actually quite nice. Dries Martinez made a nice play and assisted him.
Okay. And Inter get the 2-1 win away to Spal.
Yes, indeed.
That leaves Inter as high as 3rd place. They had a pretty slow start, but they've been winning since.
Yeah, Icardi has been leading by example up there.
And 2 wins in Champions League as well. Fair to mention. And Lazio sit 4th at the moment, followed by Sampdoria and Roma. Moving along to Bundesliga.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Lazio finished so high, being so high this early in the season is impressive, considering they started off their season playing against Juventus and Napoli. That was the first 2 games of the season.
All right, moving along. I have to mention that Bundesliga, as mentioned. Here we go. Werder Bremen 2-0 over Wolfsburg. Bremen is sitting top 4 in the Bundesliga at the moment.
Yes, they will not last there long. This is not one of the teams.
It's not one of those teams?
Has the depth or the talent.
Just the early season run.
It's just a run.
The big result out of Bundesliga this weekend was another contender, but they got waxed. Bayern at home took a 3-0 loss to Borussia Mönchengladbach.
They took a 3-0 loss in the first half to Borussia Dortmund Mönchengladbach.
Whoops.
They got rocked. And Mr. Croatia, who actually Kovac has been annoying team officials and players because even his backroom staff, his assistant coaches are all Croatian, so they're just all going around talking in Croatian in the thing, and that's been bothering people. And also the rotation that he's doing hasn't been working. We talked previously about how James Rodriguez was talking about this shit ain't Frankfurt, you know. So
interesting formation he put out here too.
The 4-1-4-1.
Yeah. Rodriguez and Ian Robin. You got Goretzka. Goretzka was he's like a winger back or something.
That's the thing about like when he keeps switching them up. Like they don't look comfortable. Like before, you know, Arjen Robben gonna get you off the wing. Ribery gonna get you off this wing. Like the plays were simple. Like but I understand the problem being Bayern Munich is an aging team, so you have to take some lumps and just make the moves, but I don't know if this is the guy to do it. He might be a good, smaller club manager at this point in his career. I don't know if he's ready for Bayern Munich.
And so, as we mentioned in regards to that guy in Real Madrid.
Sorry, halftime was 2-0.
2-0, okay. Yeah, this is another guy that's going to be gone before we can blink. If he continues this,
this guy
can't lose 3-0.
I remember his name because he's just Niko Kovac, but he's gonna be gone pretty fucking soon. And I think that Bayern Munich will see how your boy does. Hoffenheim coach does at RB for a year and then snatch him.
Yeah, Nagelsmann. Speaking of Hoffenheim, they're just continuing a poor run of domestic form, and they take a 2-1 loss to Frankfurt.
Yeah, the exertions of the European football affects a small team like Hoffenheim, you know. So
I mean they looked good in the city game, and it's tough out there. They sit.
It's hard to stay that intensity, you know. Like after playing City.
Yeah, they sit 13th in the table, with only 7 points from 7 games. Moving along, RB has to be mentioned. They put up 6 on Nuremberg.
They're coming together. The verticality principles are applying, and Yusuf Poulsen. You know how we were talking always about Timo Werner and I forget the midfielder, the Swedish kid, Emil Forsberg. But Yusuf Poulsen has really taken off too, and they're just trying to out-offense you a lot, and it's fun to watch.
They got a very young team, man.
I think it's going to remain young because they have no attachment to anything.
Yep. The interesting Bundesliga top 4 at the moment lies as Dortmund on top, RB in second, Mönchengladbach in third, and Werder Bremen in fourth, followed by Hertha and then Bayern. It is interesting to see that, but it's real tight, so see how it goes.
Dude, was it, let's see, last season when Bayern started fucked up and fired their coach and won it by like 20 points?
20 points.
Yeah.
Were they really losing that early? They were, weren't they?
Yes. That's how much they own Germany. I think that Dortmund is further ahead. Like the biggest rival always is going to be Dortmund. They're the best, the best set up team. And if they were having a bad season, it was going to be almost impossible for Bayern not to win it.
Yep. All right, moving along real quick. Got a couple games I felt like mentioning in Ligue 1, which was Lille with a 3-0 victory over Saint Etienne. Lille been on a nice run this year, making a play for Champions League.
And they stand in
second place.
Oh, man.
Already 8 points back.
And they have the strike force. We're talking about them. Puppy is one of the guys' name. Anyways, we'll do a special about Lille kind of upcoming weeks because they have a lot of young guys that's going to be on the market.
Nicolas Pepe,
Jonathan
Icone, Loic Remy.
Loic Remy is all time. No.
Jonathan Bemba.
Yeah,
Bamba.
Jonathan Bamba and Nicolas Pepe are going to be big on the market in the coming 6 months to a year. Pepe has been in Barcelona rumors as close as like 2 weeks ago.
Jonathan Bamba, a 22-year-old French national.
Scored a wonder goal.
And Nicolas Pepe is a 23-year-old Cote d'Ivoire international. Interesting. Nice. Make that money, kids. Make that money. One other game, Stade Rennes, profiled here last week on D4G, took a 2-1 victory over Monaco. Monaco, I wanted to bring this up because does Monaco seriously be worried about relegation this year?
If they don't fix what's going on right now, fuck yeah. The league looks actually pretty decent. Like, I've been watching like a lot of, not full games, but like a lot more highlights and stuff, and the competition level is high, and they can't afford to put in the performances they are. Radamel Falcao scored a goal in this game, but like they look like a disjointed team. The guy looks like he's lost the locker room, and
yeah, they got to do something. They got to shake something up.
When you say a manager is a good manager or a bad manager, that's a fluid situation. It does not stay the same. And right now, this guy, whatever he knows, whatever football he knows, is falling on deaf ears. So I would make the call pretty fucking soon. Immediately, if not soon, as
absolutely.
They say.
They're 9 games in. They played more games than any other league. They only have 6 points. They're in 18th place, 4 points from safety already. I mean, that can get out of hand if you don't address it.
Jean Moutinho used to hold down a lot on that midfield, and now he's playing for Wolves. Mm-hmm. So you can't year after year after year get rid of big talent. Bernardo Silva, Ben Mendy, Jean Moutinho, Fabinho, and just keep going.
Not that team. When you look at the talent that team,
and then even Keita Balde this season went to Inter already. You know, like they sell too much for them to start off. Like, they're going to start off badly, so maybe that's why he's going to get whatever. But I think that this is a troublesome situation, and you need to bring in a fresh coach that wants to win as opposed to somebody that's a company man and the players stop listening to.
There it is. All right, moving along. We're going to hit you with a very quick Europa League review. Thursday's games. Quick mention. We mentioned Leipzig already, but Leipzig and Salzburg walk away with 3-1 winners here. Arsenal with a 3-0 over Karabag FK. AC with a 3-1 over Olympiacos.
That one was could easily be a Champions League encounter. So AC Milan should be proud of that too.
Spartak Moscow, because Moscow's been on the mat the past week or so in European competition. Get the 3-3 draw with Villarreal and Chelsea, who have played teams that I've never heard before this year.
I know Vidi.
MOL.
But the previous game before the Chelsea
Spartak
game,
Villarreal.
Santi Cazorla scored his first European goal since the last European goal he scored for Villarreal. His whole Arsenal career, he did not score a single goal in Europe.
Wow.
So,
congrats, dude.
Yeah, big up yourself. You did well.
You did well, homie.
And they love him in Arsenal.
Yeah.
Because he was just broken. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, why can't you just like throw his amputated leg at the ball? Like, let him tap at it.
Chelsea with the 1-0, as mentioned, over Molvidi FC. Molvidi. Word up. All right. Like I said, Europa. We're going to move along real quick. Kicking on up to the forwards. Yeah. All right. So as we have been doing the last 4 or 5 weeks here, we have been doing club profiles of smaller teams that we may not cover as frequently here on D4G. And even though they were talked about today as a foil for Jose Mourinho, we'd like to go a little bit more in depth and talk about Newcastle today. Sir Solomon.
Yes. Newcastle is an interesting team. It's actually not a small team. It's quite a big team within English football, but it has the city and the team have kind of fallen behind London and the rest of like the Manchester. Not as much Liverpool as a city, but like they just fallen behind in terms of football. And this guy, Mike Ashley, who basically he's a billionaire businessman. He is a retail entrepreneur that has Sports Direct is a retail sports store, and he owns that. And 11 years ago, he decided to buy Newcastle United because they were struggling financially, whatever. He bought about 40% of the stocks from one of the major stockholders. And in England, when you buy United Kingdom, when you buy past 29%, you automatically have to buy out everybody, and you're the owner. So he did that. He closed within a year, and he promises all types of things. And Mike Ashley and Newcastle United is a history of basically the guy bullshitting and using Newcastle to promote his own interests and also profiting from.
What are those interests?
He decided that the St. James Park, which is one of the most infamous names in football, he needed a naming sponsor so that he could make money, which is right. Everybody gets that. Except he just, instead of doing that, he put Sports Direct on the fucking stadium and called it the Sports Direct.
That's his company?
Yeah, that's his fucking company.
At least be slick like the Arab teams
so
do. Shit.
He hired.
Was that PSG that kind of paid them to the Qatar Airways or Qatar?
Yeah, like to just run some sort of game.
Come
But
on,
like
man. Damn.
Their shit is unbelievable because people are saying they're paying too much. Okay. You know, like they're like, this is not a footballing thing. They're laundering money, da-da-da. So it's a complete different argument from his, which is like, hey, you just fucking robbing the team name to make profit for your company.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yep.
So he initially wanted to, like, the Newcastle faithful liked him. He went to the Arsenal game. He drank in the stands. Like, he chugged the whole fucking beer. They loved him. But as it keeps going, he brought in Kevin Keegan, who's a club legend, used to be their manager. And dude left because he was like, brought in another director of football, Dennis Wise, behind him. And he couldn't handle it. Like they were mistreating him. By the way, going back to Sports Direct, his retail enterprise, it is known within England as a company that breaks business practices, pays their employees less than minimum wage, treats them like, gives them like the hourly agreements as per Euro labor laws they do not follow. Like, it's just a fucking sweatshop. This guy is a douchebag. Okay?
Wow, dude, that's really, I had no idea.
All right. So when the club sold James Milner early in the career, he told Kevin Keegan that he would be replacing him by World Cup winner Bastian Schweinsteiger. And Kevin Keegan was like, all right, let's go. Right? Instead, he got a guy called Isco Shishko, which starts with an X. Okay? And another guy called Ignacio Gonzalez from La Liga.
Okay. It's a little different.
So Kevin Keegan leaves, sues them, gets a successful court case for constructive dismissal, and gets a $2 million settlement. After which, he hires Joe Kinnear, who in his opening press conference basically curses out the whole media place like it's an infamous press conference. I'll show it to you later. We'll tweet it out sometime. And then he went to club legend Alan Shearer after firing Joe Kinnear and told him, if you take over, because it was like almost at relegation, that even if they got relegated, he would keep him as manager. Alan Shearer got him. They played good football, but it was too late. They got relegated. He didn't renew his contract. Hired Chris Hughton, fired him while they were in 6th place after he brought them back from relegation, and hired Alan Pardew, gave him an 8-year extension, and couldn't get out of it until I think it was Crystal Palace made googly eyes at Alan Pardew and decided to pay him get out free. And now, as luck would have it, fucking Rafa Benitez falls on his lap, gets them out of the championship. At which point he makes a agreement that if you get us out of the championship, I will bring in reinforcements for our Premier League season. Does not do that for their first Premier League season. Rafa Benitez still takes them to a comfortable Premier League survival.
12th place or
exactly.
something? Like, yeah.
Again this summer, in the course, since he's promised Rafa Benitez reinforcements, he has actually made 45 million profit from transfers.
Nice. Wow.
So
do you remember that? You remember that mayor of Toronto,
oh yeah,
the Rob Ford?
yeah, this guy's like him.
Is that him?
He's got a lot like him. He has sat in court and told the prosecutor, "I am a power drinker." Because they were asking him how much he drank, and he's like, "I don't know. I just got a guy that brings me drinks, and I just drink them. Like I'm a power drinker."
Oh man,
Yeah, the board has left. Like it's been ridiculous.
Magpies.
And he's offered to sell him up multiple times. Whenever the fan anger goes really high, he puts it on the market, and there's like, all right, I'm trying to get rid of it. I want, blah, blah. And then this lady, Amanda Staveley, organized, like this was last season, organized a whole thing, and they offered 300 million pounds for the team, but he wants closer to 400 million for it. So, so after last season, after finishing a remarkable 10th place with Benitez, he released an actual statement saying that the manager, he would get every penny generated by the club in the transfer market. This was his words. Every penny generated by the club in the transfer market, right? But Newcastle made a net profit in that in that transfer window after he said that.
Yeah, and he was like,
So now,
So can he be sued for that? I wonder. Is that like a verbal contract?
I don't know, but Rafa Benitez is a huge fan favorite right now because he's been like just nothing but an amazing manager for them.
He also seems like a dunce at the moment. Rafa,
Why?
why are you taking this?
'Cause
Go
he's-
get another job, dude.
He's done with his contract at the end of the season. He's on a 3-year contract. He's doing his thing. This has done nothing but enhance his reputation.
I agree.
Rafa
But I'm
Benitez's
just
reputation wasn't exactly sky high when he came into this whole thing. So he's actually, in my opinion, played it perfectly.
Okay, I
'Cause
just wanted to know why he
his-
stayed though.
but-
Like why? Like after the
'Cause
first
he
year,
has a
when they don't. I guess.
He has a contract. After the first year, what was his inspiration? Was to show the world that he's still good at Premier League football. That's what he did last season.
Mm-hmm.
And now that he can fucking finish a contract and not be a pain in the ass, which is what he's known for previously in his career, and then he can just walk away and they're like, oh, okay, now this version of Rafa Benitez is a pro. He's not going to be bitch every fucking
Do you
thing.
think he's-
And then a lot of smaller mid-level teams are going to fucking hire him.
No, he's not a big team. There's no big teams that would hire somebody in Italy, maybe.
In
In Italy, maybe.
I don't know. Like, we'd have to rediscuss what big team means if we're saying in Italy, maybe. Like, who's there in Italy that's a big team now? They're all shit.
Well, I
small
mean,
teams.
mid-level teams are still. I mean, you
Mid-level-
hyped him up as like the league to watch this year. But what I mean, like, is a Roma. I know
But what I'm
he's
saying
already
is,
been
like,
at Inter.
financially speaking, like, if you
Financially
were to,
speaking, I know.
if you were to be a mid-level Premier League manager, you're probably making 4 or 5 times what you would make as the Napoli manager.
Really?
On the current TV deals, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And you get to be on EPL every week, like.
Okay. So he'll go coach.
Dude, if you look at the Italian league, like the pay is very, very low. Like there are, I think, 2 or 3 that make less than $1 million a season as a manager.
Damn. So we're looking at him maybe doing like an Everton level type team.
Like that would be ideal. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else on Newcastle? That was interesting stuff.
Nah, that was the
We
thing.
hate you, Mike Ashley.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous out there.
All right. D4G award section. Dude of the week goes to
Paco.
Tupac.
Go ahead, rock this.
Tupaco.
Yeah, 3 Paco this week though.
Got the hat trick tatted on my belly.
Yeah, the hat trick coming on as a sub and scored a 95th minute winner in a 94-minute game.
And that 95th minute winner is
The goal of the week.
See how we reversed that? Like, I went backwards, but man, it's clean sweep by Tupac.
Yes,
though.
I hope you noticed the 3 people that are still listening.
Oh man, Tupac, man, good shit though.
What happened moment? Morata scored twice this week.
More twata for the twata moment. Word up. Upcoming league games when we come back from the international break.
As I come back.
EPL, it just gets so poetic. Jose goes to Chelsea.
Yes.
His final game in the Premier League? They fire him?
If you make an if the performance, if Chelsea get on them, because Chelsea's not Newcastle, and if Chelsea get ahead and they just mail it in, you might have to make the call, because this is what we're talking about. If they don't start getting results and they get bounced from the Champions League in after the first round, because Valencia wins 1 or 2 games, that's like... Everybody's like, oh, who are you going to hire? I don't know, but you're going to need a caretaker to take you through this season.
Yeah.
Like, forget the long-term hire. Just get rid of this dude and try to save your season right now.
Yeah. What does saving their season look like? Top 4? Got to finish top 4?
Top 4, and at this point in time, I don't know why a lot
Europa?
of people are not reading this. No. Getting to the second round of the Champions League.
Champions League.
That is-
knockout round or the
yes.
quarters.
No. Just get out of your group right now. That is a big accomplishment. You get a shitload of money
for
by
making
doing that, and also you get to go into the January transfer window promising Champions League football if you get certain guys that aren't in Europe. You know what I'm saying? So it's funny. Mourinho talks about how much he hates January transfers when he talks about Alexis Sanchez. But he's begging for January transfers right now.
Of course he is.
Hope you make it to January, fuck.
Serie A, we have the Milan Derby, Inter hosting AC.
Both of them are in surprisingly good form. And Nangolan as a 10 looks interesting. It's almost like having Rino Gattuso playing number 10. But it seems to be working for Inter. Like, I don't know why you have your Bulldog being your creator, but okay.
Hey, whatever works. As I mentioned, they've been on a run.
We'll see how it goes against the bigger teams, because that takes away from creativity.
La Liga, Barcelona hosting Sevilla.
Yeah, number 1 versus number 2, or as you would put it, number 2 versus number 1.
It is.
Because Barcelona is number 2.
Number 2. Yep.
Yeah. So hopefully they take a number 2 on Sevilla.
Yeah, if you're gonna have any, I mean, you just need to beat them. Like, put them down, put them back in their place.
The FIFA bug. Watch out,
we don't know
everybody.
how much. Yeah. That
But
international
Barca
break.
is going to be one of those teams that's not going to look too bad coming back from international break, because Messi and Luis Suarez are not going. Luis Suarez is actually getting work done on his knee, which has been a problem apparently. Okay. So he was not just
that was
frolicking like we
the
thought it was, but there's also some sort of medical reason.
We don't know exactly how he messed that knee up.
I know. I heard it was the medical term was acute carpet burns.
Still sounds like a good summer. Bundesliga, man. Wolfsburg hosting Bayern. Bayern away here. It's tough for them.
A bad team in really good form against a good team in really bad form. So it should be an interesting one.
I couldn't find anything of interest in Ligue 1. Did you have something? Hey. Say Mel.
Oh yeah, that's it's in a couple of weeks, so
This weekend, so yeah.
and the league has kind of been put to sleep.
Pretty much. There's not even like mid-table range. It's like top of the table versus bottom of the table. on
Ninja
most of the
Turtle,
games.
that's so cold on it.
There it is. And that match is in
It should
the
be called
books.
League.
Liga.
Pop
Nice. All right, man. That match is in the books. Diving for Glory Season 2, Episode 9. Let's get it. As always, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate anyone who takes the time to check us out. Don't forget, Diving for Glory posts every Monday. Well, except for this week, we did Tuesday, and on every Thursday during Champions League weeks on iTunes, YouTube, and divingforglory.com. Hit subscribe. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Diving for Glory. Please rate us on iTunes. so more people will think or know or acknowledge we are fucking awesome. Till next week.
We only change days when we have album release parties, you know?
Yo, until next week, man. Corciola, Solomon.
Yeah.
Peace.
Diving it. Diving it.
What do we get condoms?
Diving it. Diving it. Diving it. Diving it.
He's not a man. There's nothing more to say.
Diving it.
Glory.